Mama drowned her baby in the river. The cowboy dragged him out and faced her with his gun. "Don't pull it out, Wade," the old man said. "Let the river keep its dead." Wade didn't answer. He dropped the rope and stepped down the embankment, boots sinking in cold mud. The water moved slow, thick like syrup. Crying had brought him here. Not wind, not memory. A sound, too small for this land. There, caught in the roots under the broken bridge, something pale. The old man lit a cigarette with shaking hands. "You drag him out, you don't get to put him back." Wade knelt, reached in, lifted the soaked bundle of flesh. A boy, tiny, breathless, eyes open. Not blinking, the crying stopped. He laid the body in the grass. The river moved on like it hadn't noticed. Wade just stared. "You should have let him float," the old man whispered. A truck rolled up. Sheriff Dorsey climbed out slow, one hand on his hip like his holster was a burden. He didn't come close. "Just squinted from the road." "Jesus," Dorsey said. Wade stood, mud on his knees, water dripping from his sleeves. Dorsey walked down, stopped a few paces away. "Nobody's saying it yet, but we both know whose boy that is." Wade didn't answer. "You hear her last night?" "No." She was screaming. "Said someone took him. Said it was witches." Wade looked back at the child. His lips were parted like he'd been trying to speak. Dorsey sighed. "Look, Wade, don't. She's not right. Hasn't been in years." Wade crouched, pulled off his coat, wrapped the boy in it gentle like he was sleeping. "You don't need to be the one," Dorsey said. "I am." Dorsey took a step forward. "Wade!" "I am," he said again, turning. He climbed the slope without looking back. The child pressed to his chest. Dorsey didn't follow. At the top, Wade paused, eyes on the ridge where the Miller homestead sat, still and crooked against the morning light. The old man called from behind, "You sure about this?" Wade shifted the weight in his arms. "I'm taking him to her. Now." Then he walked toward the house that no one visited anymore. The one with the well sealed shut and the porch that still creaked in windless air, and the mother who'd once warned, "Ain't no curse worse than a crying boy in the dark." Wade stepped onto the porch. The boards creaked like they remembered him. Mama Miller sat in her old rocker, facing the fields, arms folded, dress wrinkled, eyes hollow. Her hair was tied back, but loose strands trembled in the heat. She didn't turn when he approached. "Why?" he asked. She lit a cigarette. Took a drag with slow fingers. "He wouldn't stop crying," she said. "So you drowned him." She looked up. No apology in her face. "Just weariness. He wasn't mine." Wade set the bundle down on the steps, his coat peeled back, the baby's eyes still open. "He was your son." She blew smoke toward the rail. "He was his son." Wade stared at her. "Yours too." She didn't blink. "I never asked for him. You carried him. He was inside me." "That doesn't mean he was mine." Wade unholstered the revolver, placed it on the porch railing. "Cold metal against dry wood. Pick it up." Her hand trembled, but not from fear. "Why?" "So I can have a reason." She took another drag. Looked out over the corn, dried and cracked and forgotten. "You think this is new?" she said. "You think I started with him?" Wade didn't speak. "I was 15 when the first one kicked," she said. 16 when I buried her in the well." He flinched. "Go ahead. You want blood? You think one bullet makes you clean?" "I didn't come to be clean." She stood, walked to the edge of the porch, just past the gun. "Didn't touch it. You came for closure," she said. "But there ain't none here. Just more bones." Wade's jaw tightened. "Say his name." "No." "Say it." She turned. He didn't have one yet. Wade's hand hovered near the gun. "You really gonna kill a woman with her back turned?" she said. He didn't move. She stepped past him down the stairs, into the dust. "He ain't the first child buried in that river. And you know he won't be the last." He stayed on the porch. The revolver still on the rail, unclaimed. She disappeared around the side of the house. Wade picked up the baby, held him close. The gun stayed behind. Wade walked off without it. Wade stepped inside. The door groaned like it remembered him. The air was thick, still. The floor sagged. Moths scattered from the corners. Photographs curled on the walls, faces faded, eyes scratched out. The house stank of wet wood and old blood. He moved past the stove, past the empty cradle by the fireplace. His boots left prints in the dust. One chair sat upright at the table. The rest lay broken. He paused in the kitchen, stared at the sink. He reached under it, pushed aside rusted pans, mildewed rags. His hand hit metal. A latch, he pulled. The floor groaned. A trapdoor opened with a cough of air. The space below was dark, hollow, breathing, then scratching. He waited. The scratching turned to shifting. Then a voice, cracked and dry. "He's gone, ain't he?" Wade didn't speak. More movement. Then fingers. Then wrists. Then her. She crawled up slowly, pale, knees shaking. Hair stuck to her cheeks. Her dress was thin, grey, torn. She didn't look at him. She stood barefoot on the kitchen tile like it burned her. "Ruthie," he said. She nodded once, then walked to the far wall, dragging her hand across peeling paint. She stopped at a corner cabinet, reached behind it, pulled something free, a leather book. Molded, but whole. She handed it to him. Wade didn't take it. She opened the cover herself, turned pages with quiet fingers, names, dates. "Children," she said. "How many?" She didn't answer. He took the book. "Read." The names weren't strangers. Why'd she keep this? "She didn't," Ruthie whispered. "I did." Wade looked at her. "She made me watch. Said someone had to remember." His eyes flicked to the well. "She locked you down there." She nodded. "How long?" "Since the last frost." He stared at the page again. Some entries were marked with a red X, others circled. He turned the last page. Nothing written, just a single word carved in deep mine. He closed the book. Looked at the girl. "You need to eat." She shook her head. "You need to leave." She didn't move. He stepped to the door, ledger in hand. Behind him, Ruthie whispered, "She said the river don't take what's born, cursed." Wade opened the ledger again. The names stared back. So did the drownings. The door to the sheriff's office slammed open. Wade walked in, face set, mud still on his boots. He didn't wait for permission. Didn't knock. Just threw the ledger down on the desk. Dorsey looked up from his chair, didn't flinch. 7 children, Wade said. Not one buried proper. Dorsey didn't touch the book. And all born of men who got land, oil, or secrets. You buried this. I survived it. Wade leaned over the desk. That ledger's got your cousin's name. Your uncle's, too. Dorsey shrugged. You think I didn't know that? You let it go on. I was 10 when she dragged me out to the creek. Said she was going to cleanse the bloodline. He rolled back his sleeve. The scar on his wrist ran white and jagged. She held my hand in the fire when I cried. Said weakness was inherited. Wade stared at the scar. She tried to drown me, too, Dorsey said. Didn't take. Wade sat in the chair across from him. So you just looked away? I locked her up twice. County let her out both times. First time said she was a widow. Second time said she was sick. She ain't sick. Dorsey tapped the desk. She's worse than sick. She's a mirror, Wade blinked. What? She shows this town what it really is. What we all come from. You think this place wants to see itself that way? I don't give a damn what this place wants. Dorsey leaned forward. You want justice? You're not getting it through this office. Wade stood, picked up the ledger. Then what the hell are you for? Dorsey didn't answer. Wade looked around the office. The badges on the wall. The photos of old sheriffs, all stern-faced, all men. He reached up, took Dorsey's badge from his chest. Dorsey didn't stop him. Wade walked to the wood stove in the corner, opened the hatch, threw the badge into the flames. Dorsey stayed seated, watching. Wade left without a word. He crossed town slow. Sun dipping low now. The porch waited. He stepped onto the Miller porch again. The revolver was still there, right where he'd left it. He picked it up, slowly. The weight in his hand felt different this time. He didn't speak. He didn't knock. He turned toward the cornfields, toward the woods. And he walked. Wade sat on the porch rail, revolver balanced across his knees. Ruthie sat cross-legged on the steps below, wrapped in a thin quilt, hands tucked beneath. The sky had gone orange behind the fields. Silence stretched long between them. Tell me, he said. She didn't look up. You ever hear of night church? No, the men go out past the orchard. After dark. No women allowed. No children, Wade frowned. That's some cult? Wasn't no Bible, just rules. For land, for bloodlines, for quiet. She pulled something from her pocket. Folded paper, crayon drawings. She opened the first page. A ring of men around a fire. Something small in the center, kneeling. Mama followed them once. Saw what they did. Wade said nothing. She went back every month. Hid in the trees. Took names. Why not tell the sheriff? They were the sheriff, the judge, the preacher, the banker. You think anyone believe her? He looked down at the drawing, the small figure now clearer. A girl, naked. She took their sons, Ruthie said. Wade's voice hardened. You saying she punished the children? She freed them. He blinked. From what? From becoming them. He stood, pacing, the gun heavy in his hand now. You saying every one of those boys was born from their meetings, Ruthie said. He turned. You expect me to believe she drowned bastards for justice? She didn't drown them. She buried them. Drowning came later. She handed him another paper. A well, a baby, a woman crying. Another paper. A snake coiled around a badge. A grave with no name. Why draw this? He asked. So I don't forget, she said. He opened the ledger, flipped back to the pages Ruthie had marked. Some names were underlined, others circled. Then he stopped. Wade? Ruthie asked. He didn't answer. Just stared at the page. The name sat clean in the middle. Thomas Barrett, his father. He closed the book. Ruthie looked up. You didn't know? No. She spared you. No, Wade said. She damned me quiet. Ruthie's voice dropped. She said some lines need breaking. Not carrying, he turned without another word. Walked to his horse, the ledger tucked in his coat. Ruthie called after him, Where you going? He climbed onto the saddle. Looked back once, to dig, he said. Then he rode for the cemetery. Dirt would tell him what blood had lied about. Wade rode slow through the crooked gate. The cemetery sat behind the chapel ruins, where the ground cracked even when it rained. He tied his horse to a dead tree, walked row by row, names he'd seen before. Names from the ledger, names whispered in court and buried in sermons. He stopped at the marker. Timothy Wade, 1933. His hands didn't hesitate. He dug fast, breath shallow, dirt flying. The grave gave up easy. Earth was loose, like it had been disturbed before. The shovel hit wood. He dropped to his knees, pulled the rotted lid back. Inside, nothing but a folded, blood-soaked blanket. A sheriff badge cracked down the middle, no bones. No body. Wade's hands shook. Memory hit hard, cold water. Small hands. A child's scream gurgled in the shallows. He was 6, face pressed under the river. Someone holding him down. Mama Miller's voice, sharp and near. Not this one, he gasped, fell back on the dirt. His name was never Timothy. He was never meant to live. He looked around. Trees still, sky flat. But something was wrong. A branch snapped deep in the woods. Then another. He stood, hand on his revolver. Leaves rustled where wind didn't blow. Whispers circled the grave. Why me? He said to the air. The trees didn't answer. The earth didn't settle. Just breath behind breath behind breath. He backed away, boots sinking in the disturbed ground. He left the grave open. Badge untouched, blanket fluttering like it breathed. He didn't run, didn't speak again. He mounted the horse and turned toward the ridge. As he crested the hill, the sky behind the Miller house lit red. Smoke. Rose slow, then flame. The porch gone, the roof caving, the wind carried fire like it was hunting. Something. Wade didn't blink, didn't spur the horse. Faster, he just rode toward it, quiet, steady, like he knew it wouldn't stop without him. Inside the fire, someone was waiting. The sky was orange and gray. Smoke curled like rope through the clouds. Fire chewed through the roof. The front wall dropped with a thud. The porch still stood, somehow untouched, like it was waiting for the last scene. People lined the dirt road. No one moved. No water, no words. Just eyes. They'd come from fields, from trailers, from church. All of them watching. Mama Miller stood barefoot on the porch. Her dress clung to her legs. Her arms hung loose at her sides. Behind her, the house cracked, groaned, split open. Wade rode slow down the center, dismounted, walked straight to her. Smoke kissed his face. The gun hung from his belt. She didn't flinch. This town was built on silence, she said, and now it'll burn in it. She stepped off the porch, took the gun from his belt without asking, held it out to him. He didn't take it. You come to finish me? She asked. I came to bury it. She looked at the crowd. Not one eye turned away. They think they're clean, she said. They ain't, not one of them. From the line, a voice cracked. Wade, don't, Ruthie. Barefoot crying, shoulders shaking. Please. Mama's smile barely showed. He's one of them. He just don't know it yet. I ain't. You carry the same blood. I bled to stop it. She stepped closer. Put the gun in his hand. Her skin was cold. Then prove it. He raised the barrel. The crowd sucked air. She closed her eyes. It don't matter what you do. They'll all forget tomorrow. Ruthie sobbed louder. No. The fire swallowed the back wall. A rafter fell. Sparks leapt over Mama's head, like the house was spitting her out. You gonna shoot me, Wade? He stared at her. Then at the crowd, all of them holding their breath like it'd buy them redemption. He turned, raised the gun high, fired once into the sky. The sound cracked like thunder. The people jumped. The fire roared. Mama's eyes stayed shut. Ruthie dropped to her knees. Wade holstered the gun. Mama opened her eyes. He stepped back, turned toward the road. Behind him, the porch finally collapsed. The river ran quietly that morning. No wind, no birds, just the sound of slow water moving past stone. Wade stood ankle-deep at the bank. The baby lay in his arms, wrapped in white linen. Ruthie stood beside him, holding a bundle of dried wildflowers. Wade knelt and set the child in the shallows. He placed the flowers beside the bundle. They floated, barely touching. He didn't speak. Just watched until the current pulled it all free and carried it down. Behind them, the town stood at the tree line. No one stepped closer. Wade turned, walked back to his horse. Ruthie followed. She opened his saddlebag, placed the ledger inside. Closed the flap. You'll be sheriff now, he said. Ruthie snorted. Ain't nobody left to police but ghosts. They'll still lie. I know. He looked back at the river. The white bundle had vanished around the bend. Mama? Ruthie asked. Wade didn't answer. They both turned toward the woods. At the far edge, Mama Miller stood barefoot in the trees. No bag, no gun, just her dress, still sooty from the fire. She didn't wave, didn't move, just stared. Then she walked in. The trees swallowed her fast. No one followed. Ruthie spoke low. She won't be found. She don't want to be. Wade mounted the horse. Looked down at her. You staying? Someone has to clean it up. Don't clean too much, he said. She nodded. Some dirt ought to stay where it is. He tipped his hat, turned the horse toward the southern trail. As he rode, the woods whispered like memory. Tree trunks lined the path, scarred with names. Carved deep, dates, initials, some fresh, some eaten by moss. He didn't stop, didn't read, just passed them slow. The sun rose behind him. The town got small in the smoke. Ahead, the road stretched wide, empty. Quiet. He didn't look back, didn't need to. He'd carried enough of it. As the wind picked up, the sound of the river returned. Soft, like breath, final line. The river don't keep secrets. Just carries them far enough we forget they were ever ours.